Hey, this is Crypto Ice. Today I want to talk about the history of money and, in particular, fiat money, currency, and how it compares to gold, silver, and crypto. So there's this 10-part series called The Hidden Secrets of Money by Mike Maloney. Now a fellow YouTuber and a friend, Jerry Hall, recommended this to me, and I recommend it to all of you. Watch this if you just want to get a good fundamental view of the history of money. The first one, Mike talks about the difference between money and currency. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You're like, hey, this $10 is money because I can go and buy something with it, right? Well, I get that. But the point is that Mike is making is that there are certain qualities that have to be met for something to be considered real money. Okay? Now the first one is called a unit of account. Now this paper money fits that. If I have $10 and my friend has $10 and we decide to switch them, I haven't lost any value as far as my purchasing power, right? I still have $10 and it's a good unit of account. Okay, it's divisible, that sort of thing. Okay, the second one's called a medium of exchange. That one's fine. This paper dollar fits for that. Where we get into problems is when we start talking about store of value. No fiat currency in the history of mankind has ever retained its value. It's built into the system to lose its value because what happens, governments always, pretty much always, increase the circulation of money. They find a way, they get into problems either with war or public works or doing things, and then they debase the currency, increase the supply, and we've just done it over and over and over. We just don't learn. Between the Greeks and the Romans and the US now, we just don't seem to learn. And it seems that we feel like these academic elites are so smart that they're going to somehow figure out what the other civilizations have not figured out. Well, I'm not taking that bet because I don't think they're as smart as they think. I believe in learning from history. And so that's the problem, is that as a store of value, this fiat currency fails, and this has a 100% fail rate. No paper fiat currency has ever survived in the history of mankind. And I want you to write and tell me in the comments below, do you think the US dollar is going to be the first currency in the history of mankind to survive? And tell me why or why not. And I will be nice if you say, yes, I think it's going to survive, and this is why. I'll be nice, okay? Just tell me. And just to give you a little history about the money, Blake from I Trust Capital broke this down very beautifully on Brad Kime's show when he said that, in the late 1800s to like 1933, you could take $20, okay, and let's say that this is an ounce of gold. This is not gold, but let's just say it's an ounce of gold. I could go to my bank and I could take this $20, put it down and say, I would like to exchange this for an ounce of gold. And it says right on the dollar, redeemable by gold, right? So up until 1933, that was the case. Then President Roosevelt, FDR, I should say, came out and said, we are requiring all of you to turn in your gold. So after everyone turned in their gold, you're like, yeah, you know what, by the way, the price of gold has gone up. Now it's $35 for 1 ounce of gold. Talking about a 75% depreciation of money value right there. So from there, from 1933 to 1971, it was $35, okay, for every 1 ounce of gold. Well, between that, let's take a step back. In 1965, President Johnson took our silver coins, which were like 90% made of real silver, and he decided to debase our coins. And from that point on, from 1965, it's just made of like base metals. So again, we don't seem to learn from history. We always seem to find a way, whether it be the Greeks or the Romans or us, to debase our currency and increase our circulation of money. And it baffles me that we don't take lessons from the past. So now that we've talked about that, I just want to talk about one more thing, is that there's this fallacy out there that the central banks, like the Federal Reserve, a lot of people don't realize that the Federal Reserve is not part of the American government. And they're actually a private bank with shareholders that get a dividend on a yearly basis. They have very little accountability. There's no big audits into the Fed. Can only imagine if there was. But they're so powerful. They run fiscal monetary policy. They lower interest rates. They print money. Our founding fathers would be rolling in their graves if they knew the power that the Federal Reserve has had since 1913. They want to debase our currency. They want to increase the circulation supply. Bam, they do it. And there's nothing that you and I can say about it. So you can either just take that fate and say, okay, I'm just going to keep my dollars in the bank or the stock market and just let it lose value over time. Or you can take a percentage of your money and hedge your risk against inflation, right? And put it into gold, silver, or crypto. Now, in full disclosure, I don't have any gold, partly because it's like almost $2,000 currently. And I do think gold is a good purchase. I think that it's going to retain its value like it has for thousands of years. But I also think crypto is the latest and greatest thing, that these powers that be are moving into a new financial system, and that there's much upside. If you can study and learn which cryptocurrencies have true value, there is a lot of upside in getting in the beginning stages. So there's a fixed supply as well. A fixed supply, like 100 billion XRP, there's 21 million Bitcoin. The idea is that there's not going to be any more coins created. It's not like the Fed can just create more of those coins. So that's the upside of getting into, say, like cryptocurrency. And not to mention the appreciation from use cases over time. So hopefully this just gives you a little thoughts on the history of money. And thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.